everybody, this is Hector Rivera and this is a strings learning channel. In this video I'm going to talk about some very simple to use metronome apps that you can find on iPhone, on iOS, or on Android. They are not the same for both. Only one of them for which you actually have to pay for is, but there's plenty of free ones for both, just different brands. Let me start with the iPhone. So here, let me open up my iPhone, and we have my two favorite metronome apps at the bottom. Let's start with the free one. This one's just called Metronome. So when you open it up, you can see that it shows very much a traditional metronome shape. They usually have this triangular pyramid style shape, and it works exactly the same like the regular metronome, where it has this slider, and just like the old school metronome, it does adjust the speed. So you go lower for faster and higher for slower, which is kind of counterintuitive, but because of the physics of how a real metronome works, it actually does make sense. Okay, so that's how you use a regular metronome. So all of that feature was copied here. Now, did you see that there are words at the bottom that keep changing as I slide this square around? Those words are in Italian, and they tell us the Italian indications for how fast we're going. These are Italian indications for speed, and they are standard in music. Every time that we want to figure out how fast to play a musical piece, we look at the beginning on top of the very first staff, and it would tell us the speed. Most of the time you see it in Italian, and every time that you slide this square, which is the weight in a real metronome, each time you slide it, it tells you what speed that is. For example, let's try moderato, which in Italian that means moderately. It's pretty close to several languages. So it gives you a range, because if I keep sliding it, you'll see that there is a range on top of the pyramid. You can see the speed. Those are how many beats per minute it'll click. So there is a range that I can use for moderato. It goes, let me see, yeah, I guess the slowest I can go for the moderato is 88, and I'm going to slide it. I'm going to see how fast I can slide this before the Italian word changes to a different speed. See, right there, that changed to allegretto. That's a little faster than moderato. So let's see what the fastest moderato I can do. Oh, yeah, okay, about, 106, okay. So it says that the fastest moderato in the range I can use and still be moderato is 106, and the slowest that I can go for it to still be considered moderato or a moderate speed would be, I saw it, there it is, 88. So that's how it works. Every speed, every Italian indication of speed gives you a range of a certain amount of beats per minute that you can be within and still be within that speed. So yeah, this is a very simple to use metronome, and it is completely free. This, you can find it at the App Store. All you have to do is just search the word metronome and you will find this one. So okay, let me jump to my favorite metronome app. Now for this one I did have to pay, but it was totally worth it because it has so many features that I found very useful, and it's very loud. This is one of the loudest metronome apps that I have found, and that's important because when you practice violin, you see you have the instrument right under your ear. So what you're hearing out of the violin is very loud, and it can be louder than a lot of metronomes. So to me that was very useful, because no matter how loud I play my violin, I can hear the metronome and I can work with it easier. So this is called Pro Metronome, and if you're interested, if you want to pay for it and you can pay for it, that's great. You know, this is a very useful tool. Let me show you how this works though. It's very different to the other metronomes, but it's also very simple once you get to know it. In order to change the speed, you just rotate this ring, and it has a pretty big range of speeds. And it also tells you what the range of the Italian indication of speed is. So just keep on rotating it, and you can slide through the different speeds. And check out the sound. That's actually not as annoying as other metronome apps that I've heard. Some of them can be really loud and irritating after a while. But no, this one's actually really nice. It has a wood block sound, and you can change it. You can change the sound also, you know, within the settings right here. You can change the tone. You know, you can see that I can pass through the different sound sets that it has. Right? But I like the first one. There we go. That's my favorite one. Now, it has other features. You can change the time signature as well, simply by pressing the buttons here. And you can also have subdivisions. You know, for you more advanced music students, this is a useful feature because you can hear it playing quarter notes, or eighth notes, or syncopated eighth notes, or triplets, then triplets with a rest at the beginning. Now this is a 2/4 meter, so let me change it so you can hear it at a 4/4. There we go. So that way you can hear constant. Okay. So that's a triplet with a rest in the middle, triplet with a rest at the end, and sixteenths. So let's get it back to quarter notes. Another feature that this metronome has that I find very useful is that when you are trying to learn a new song, but you don't know what speed that is, which is pretty frequently, especially if it's a pop song and you're just trying to figure it out on the guitar by ear or whatever, you just follow the song along and tap the beat along with the song. And when you tap it, the metronome tries to guess the best it can what speed you're tapping. See, I'm gonna go faster, see what it does. So that is very useful for when you're trying to figure out a tempo that you don't know what it is. So that is called Pro Metronome. This one, fortunately, you can find it on both platforms, iOS and on Android. And yeah, very good metronome. Now let me go to the Android phone. This is the simplest metronome app, free app that is, that I could find that sounds very close to the original old school metronome and that works just like the old school metronome, which is very easy to use. It's very visual. I think it's very helpful to see the pendulum. It's just like this one. You don't pull the pendulum to get it started. You just press play. Right? This is called Analog Metronome. And you can find it at the Android Play Store. And again, it is free. And you can set the speed just like the real metronome by sliding the weight higher or lower over the pendulum. And that's it. It's a very simple metronome. It does have some extra settings, you know, where you can dial up your precise beat. Let's say, I don't know, let's say that we want to dial 125. So you say okay, and it goes to that. Yeah, so that's a nice feature, you know, because you can be precise about it if you know exactly what beat you need. So, all right, let me stop that one. Yeah, so that again is called Analog Metronome. Let me see where I put it. Yes, analog metronome. There it is. Now, here's my favorite app in Android. Pro Metronome. As you can see, it looks pretty much the same. I mean, if not identical to the iPhone version. Works exactly the same. And it does have that very pleasant woodblock sound that I like so much. It does have its customization for subdivisions and changing your time signature, just like on the iPhone. So that's something that exists on both platforms and I find very useful because of that. But then again, unfortunately, this is a paid app. I forget how much I paid for it. I think it was $5 or something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure about that, so don't quote me on it. But you can find it on both iOS App Store or Android Play Store. So those are my favorite metronomes. I would definitely recommend them, and they are very useful for studying music. And but if you are a beginner, you don't need the Pro Metronome. You could do very well for quite a long time with the simple version of the metronome. So it mimics the old school metronome, and again, it's very intuitive to use. Okay, so that's the video about metronome apps. I hope that was useful. And again, this is Seca Rivera at the Strings Learning channel. Hope to see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.